Hey everyone, welcome to Blooming Change. This is rebloom.news' interview series, where we interview people who we believe are making a positive impact in the world of sustainability. Just as a reminder, rebloom.news is a newsletter that offers advice, inspiration, and actionable items to live more consciously with the planet. And you can subscribe below or in our link in bio. So today we're talking to Nancy Fire. Hey, Nancy.
Hi.
Hi, we're going to talk all about sustainable home furnishings. So she is the co-founder and creative director of DesignWorks International, a New York City lifestyle studio, and she served as the design director for HGTV HOME for over 8 years. So Nancy, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Absolutely. And recently I launched Nancy Fire Designs, and basically I work on many cool and fun design projects. So I have a few that I'm working on right now, and sustainability is playing a big part in those. So I am designing a few condos and homes. And the first thing I do is really think about what sustainable products I could use throughout my projects. So yeah, so I'm here to just chat with you today, Meredith, and I love what you're doing. This is the future, and thank you so much for letting others know how important it is to be sustainable.
Yes, I'm so excited to chat today about it. I feel like so many people, especially throughout quarantine, have been looking at their home, looking at their space with a finer eye and, thrifting or shopping or deciding what they want to redo. And sustainability is a huge part of that when you're picking things out. So just to start off, what makes a piece of furniture or a home decor item sustainable? Like, is there any certifications we should look for when we're shopping? What makes it?
Yes, there are, but I want to take it slow because I think what I'm trying to do is let everyone know that they should work towards sustainability. I think people are nervous because they think if they don't do something right, it's not sustainable. So what I really want to talk about today, or really preach, is the idea that sustainability comes in all shapes and sizes. And let me explain why. So, sustainability comes in like the wood that you are looking to buy, what your furniture is made. There are certain trees in the country that really you shouldn't be using because they are almost extinct, right? So we're looking for substrates that are plentiful, or we're looking for substrates that can be plentiful and can propagate sooner, right? So for me, I always look to start a project with sustainability in mind, but knowing that a lot of my clients can't afford certain things. So what am I talking about? So windows, right? Look at windows as sustainability. There are some really great energy efficient windows. If you have a house that has 35 to 45 windows, that can be an expensive proposition. But if you have a house that has 35 to 45 windows and you can't go that way, there are other ways you can go. Like you can get a sustainable piece of wood, and that could be your countertop. There are ways that you could go about the findings in your home and make your home much more sustainable. You could add plants. Plants are important because plants provide oxygen and they clean the air. So there are many ways that you can look to sustainability. Looking at fabrics, like you really don't want to go to the cottons. And why? Because cotton takes a lot of water to clean. So when you're processing cotton, it really is wasteful, and most people don't really realize that, even though we like it over polyester and certain other substrates. So look to the bamboos and the burlaps and the hemps and things like that that really can propagate faster, and also you could make your home a little bit more sustainable. The same thing goes with textiles like rugs, and also sheets and bath sheets as well. So I'm not sure that answered your whole question. I think you wanted to know about more like specifics, like the FSC and the SFI. I always have to look at these when I say them. So there's the Forest Stewardship Council and also the Sustainable Forestry Initiative. So these are organizations that look to make sure that you are utilizing the correct wood. But that's at a higher level. A lot of people on their everyday lives aren't going to know this. And unfortunately, you don't see a lot of that in stores or in showrooms. It's starting to happen now, where the Sustainability Council throughout the country, and especially now with what's happening in politics, it's on everyone's mind site. So we are going to see more people aware and more agencies aware of letting people know that this is sustainable and why it is.
Yeah, I'm seeing it become way more important in, especially like startup furniture brands and their branding. Like they are very conscious about sourcing. And if you do see that badge, it's like, buying organic or, same sort of context where like you see the symbol and you know that they have all this backing behind the certification. So if you see a brand doing it, that could be a good, you know, thing for you to recognize, and you might want to invest in that over something else. So,
Agreed.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I just want to say something about startups. Like they're amazing because you have people who really have their mindset on only sustainable, and that doesn't mean it has to just be like wood and earthy and crunchy, because there are beautiful sustainable products out there today. But startups usually are really focused that way. The situation that we're seeing is the transformation of that from big box retailers, and they're the ones that are trying to find out how they can do this. Look to people like IKEA, who are really doing it and are really standing behind that badge of sustainability.
Definitely. So over the years, how has your personal design process become more sustainable? And have you joined any, like personally, have you joined any more sustainable organizations, or how has your process, transitioned through the years?
Well, it's been great for me actually, because my personal life, we compost here. We look to buy sustainable product. We have an organic garden and flower garden, so our veggies are, raised here, and we support our local CSA farms. I'm out in East Quogue these days, and it's lovely because there's a great sustainable community. So that's one way. On a business side, wow, there's so many ways. I was just elected to the board of a member of the board of the Sustainable Furnishings Council in High Point. And I'm excited about that because that's allowed me to take my voice to a different level, where I can start like you are, sort of teaching others and working with other organizations to become more sustainable. And we're doing summits about sustainability going forward. So I'm really, really excited about that. Plus, I was a style spotter at High Point Furniture Market for 2020. And my focus was sustainability. And the reason why I did that is because High Point is now really focusing on more manufacturers that are believing in sustainability. And we're also trying to get the High Point market itself, and I know you had a part in that too, to try to make it more sustainable, meaning no plastic bottles or less plastic bottles and recycling. And so I don't know, I feel excited. I feel like finally I'm seeing something happen and people are actually doing something about it. So I,
Yeah. And what people watching this probably, to put into context what we're talking about, it home furnishings sort of follows fashion a few years later with certain trends. So in the fashion industry, we've been seeing a lot of, big booming sustainable brands, like even like H&M is trying to do sustainable stuff like for years now. Like everyone's been starting to talk about it. Home furnishings, because we're working with way bigger manufacturers, a lot more people, it takes a lot longer when everything is created overseas or coming over. So home furnishings is sort of like following behind them a little bit with their sustainability, and they're taking a lot of, ideas from the fashion industry as well, is what I've noticed.
yeah, I agree with you, but I have to say that the home furnishings industry is catching up, and they're catching up quickly because they can look to fashion, and they can look at these garments that are made from recycled bottles. And we're seeing that now in furniture, and you can literally buy an outdoor set that's made from outdoor bottles. But even more so, like look what's happening in the oceans. You have companies that are going in and they're collecting shells, and they're collecting shells from restaurants, and they're making beautiful home furnishings products. So that's upcycling, right? So it's a different way of being sustainable. And then you have like fishermen's ropes that are being like melted down, and they're being turned into different types of furniture. So I can go on and on about that. I mean, there's so many opportunities today to be mindful about recycling, and we're seeing so much of that happening actually throughout the world, which is so, so exciting.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to see people restore and upcycle and all these great ways of, taking old
Absolutely.
things and making them new. So speaking on that, so what advice would you give someone? The Rebloom audience has a lot of millennial, Gen Z readers, people that really care about the environment, but also are on a budget. So if people want to design their space or make their apartment or home more sustainable, can you give some advice for someone starting out, or how they could curate sustainable furnishings within their space on a budget?
Well, actually, I have to say, excuse me, I have to say that I think they're all really lucky because you have so many more choices than people like I did. So years ago, if we wanted to do something that was sustainable, it cost a lot more. And today, it's really what people are striving for. So there's a lot more out there. So let's start with paint. There are so many companies now where you can do zero VOC, so zero fumes. So that's not an expensive way to go. So if you really want to start fresh, so to speak, in your apartment, think about the paint that you're going to use. Also think about composting. Composting starts in the house. It starts in your kitchen. So think about that, because that not only internally starts in the house, you bring it outdoors, and then you have great soil for your organic garden next year. I do that. I know that you do that. So I think that that's an easy way to sort of feel good about sustainability. Natural countertops. I talked about that earlier. There are different woods that you could use. So instead of doing these sort of faux marbles, if you can't afford real marble, which is very expensive, but it's a natural resource, there are great woods that you could use that are sustainable and that actually will repel, because you can finish them with a sustainable sealant and they will repel water. So that's something you can do. Natural rugs. There are beautiful rugs out there, slubby rugs, high pile. So there's a lot you can do there. Sustainable lamps and light fixtures. Okay, we're seeing a lot of rattan, and we're seeing a lot of hemp and a lot of bamboo in woven. So these are not expensive. And what's great about this too, and millennials do great research, right? You go online, you can see something at a high-end manufacturer for $900, and then you can see something so similar for like $69.99 at a place like IKEA. So you be mindful of, the look that you want, and then obviously shop for that. Organic textiles, towels, bath sheets. I think it was last week, Pottery Barn team has come up with a new line of sustainable, beautiful sheets with different patterns on them. So they're not just solid, but they're doing organic printing. Ethically sourced products. Look online and see what you feel good about in buying. Energy conserving windows. I mean, that's a big thing, because depending upon where you live, there are windows that actually allow the cold to stay out and the heat to come in. So that's something that is important. And then last but not least, organic, not organic, but appliances that are energy saving. And there is a website you can go to on energy saving appliances. And what's great about that is they are brand free. They tell you what they like because they're sustainable. They're not pitching the brand. They're letting you know how much energy you can save. So, and then of course, solar power. I mean, that's something that is wonderful as well, if that's something that you could afford to do. But there are many state programs now that are actually picking up the tab if you're going to do something like that. So there are so many ways. I mean, designing a home, home decor, little baskets that are woven from natural substrates, artisan, like support artisans over the world, around the world, that are doing these things. And that's been happening for years, but now more and more people are showing, their talents through this. So I think there's a plethora of information out there for all of you, and I'm so excited.
Yes, for sure. The awareness is definitely growing. Home furnishing, decor, everything has been taking over TikTok and Instagram and all these great things, and people are getting so creative. So
Yes.
thank you so much for taking time today and talking to us about sustainable home furnishings. And I can't wait to share you on the platform.